Hi guys, it is a snow day here in Nashville. If you hear some playing, Evan is here. It's Saturday and I'm doing a little baking, and I have decided to do a little baking. I've also put some curtains up since we've last chatted, so I'll show you those in a minute. But we're gonna get into, I've also made my first sourdough loaf. Currently trying to make my second. My starter is not moving much, but that's okay. We're only 4 hours in. But I am going to make us some scones with the discard. A, because I love scones, and B, just to give us a little something. We're stuck inside. We need a little yummy treat. So we are using Farmhouse on Boone's best sourdough discard scones recipe. So that's what we're gonna get into and do a little baking together. This is probably going to be my go-to discard recipe because Ev and I devoured these within, I think, 48 hours. But I'm going to link the recipe in the description below so you can make them as well. This is the sugar that my husband uses for his bike rides. That's why it's in this crazy container. Evan looked over shortly after this clip and was like, "That's hilarious." It wasn't until I was living in England that I actually started baking with a scale, and if y'all have not gotten to that point yet, I cannot recommend it enough. You literally can get one off Amazon for, I'm sure, less than $10, but you've got to make the switch. It's so worth it. Okay, this is the part of scones that I was always intimidated by. I knew you had to have like super cold butter and you had to grate it. I want y'all to know, I had so much fun. My arm did hurt, but it was so satisfying the way that it looked. And I get why, after mixing it, scones are made the way they are. Just makes sense. But the fact that this recipe was like maybe 5 ingredients and it's one of the best pastries on the earth, I just can't recommend making these enough. Actually, just so y'all know, had less discard than what the recipe asked for. It was like 25 grams less and they still turned out great. So if that's the boat you're also in, go for it. And I did use oat milk, LOL. I don't keep whole milk in the house or buttermilk or half and half. It's kind of just goes to waste for me. So oat milk hasn't failed me yet, and that was a full fat option. So give it a try. This was probably my favorite part, rolling out the dough, getting it in your hands and rolling it out the old-fashioned way. I never realized or thought about that scones were shaped this way. I thought you like hand-shaped each scone. No, you literally turn it into a flat pancake and then cut it into 8s or how many ever you want. And I that just blew my mind. I was like, the fact that that's how scones are made, it's just so simple. It's just crazy how something that can seem so daunting once you get in it and realize, wait, I actually can do this. It's not even that bad at all. In the recipe, she talks about putting these in the fridge for 30 minutes, up to 3 days, and I just did 30 minutes and they were absolutely perfect. So totally up to you. And she talks about all the reasons why in the recipe. And of course I had to show Ev, and if you can't tell, his face was like, oh my gosh, babe, this looks so good. We both are big scones fans, so I was glad we could have a little treat on such a cold, snowy day. While the scones are fermenting / rising in the fridge and Ev is playing in the living room, I wanted to do a little catch up. I have been crafting, y'all. That's wrong side. There's just so much we need to catch up on. So I 2 weeks ago discovered, has it been 2 weeks? I think it has. I have discovered a new craft store, new for me. It's been there. Close to my home, and it's actually a thrift craft store. It's awesome. It's a nonprofit. They're amazing. And so anyways, I at the same time had gotten the embroidery kit for like Secret Santa, and I had made the pendant sign for my sister's baby shower, all the things over the Christmas time, and her baby shower was the first week of January. So I was already doing a lot of crafting, and then once we got back home and back in Nashville, I was like, you know what? There's a part of this that like I just enjoy so much, and I just need to keep following it. And so I like popped into the craft store, like I said, I think it's been 2 weeks now. And I had seen a couple things on knitting, and I was like, you know what? I really want to learn this. But so many times when you start a hobby, they're so expensive. Like there's rarely any hobbies that you don't need to go buy something, whether it's baking or paint. Like think about it. There's barely any other than like singing, like, or running. A lot of things like requires a lot of money, and I have this thing of like, until I know I'm invested, I don't want to start spending a lot of money on it, because that money just like goes to waste. And I'm not just trying to spend a lot of money on things that aren't that important right now. So anyways, it was all a beautiful storm, and I found this craft store because like Hobby Lobby, Michael's are kind of far away from me. So like where I'm at, this was the closest one that came up on Google Maps. And I went in, and there was like yarn, there was everything. I will put their Instagram on the screen in case you're a Nashville person and you haven't heard of them yet. I feel like I'm one of the last. I know a lot of people know about them. But anyways, I got needles and yarn. I also have gotten some thrifted fabric from there. That's where the curtain fabric is from, and a couple other projects that I want to do with y'all also. The children are playing in the snow. That is precious. So sorry if you hear that. There's children playing in the snow. I picked up things for sewing and all that, and then I also at the same time wanted to get into knitting. So there was actually this sweet woman there who helped me. She is a knitter herself, has taught people, and so she was helping me. I got some needles, got some starter yarn, and I'm starting to learn like the spectrum of like prices of yarn and like good yarn and all that, and quality yarn, I guess I should say. And so anyways, I'm still starting out on the cheaper stuff because I just still want to practice. Like it's just not worth it yet. But I finally finished a project. I told Ev I wanted to make like just some coasters. Guys, I'm dying. Can we talk about how big this coaster is? Like I clearly didn't size it. I want to make, so let me say this. I tried to jump in making a sweater, and I was just like, Malls, pull it back. Like, it's so me to want to jump into something, but part of that is a good thing. Part of it's a bad thing. But the good part of it is it just helps me learn. Like, I love to know how a machine works. So getting in and learning what a pattern says and all that. And to be honest, I did not want to knit a scarf or a beanie. I don't need a scarf or a beanie, and no one else around me does. Even though I say that, and my dad last night on the phone, I was showing him my square, and he was like, you know, if you want to knit me a scarf, I'm like, I've never seen you wear a scarf a day in your life, sir. But anyways, I don't know, have gotten into knitting, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I also, since being gone, because I guess this might be my first vlog after Vlogmas, I actually filmed another video. If I'm saying this and this is the first video you see, then you aren't seeing the other one, but I had filmed a whole other video and I just like did not like it. I'm kind of working on a different editing style / focus, and just like, what do I want to focus on? What is more of my niche? And maybe we'll get into that more in later vlogs. But I also got a sewing machine. I had been like scouring Facebook Marketplace, and I had some Christmas money left, and I was about to get these boots. Super cute boots. And I was like, you know what? I looked at Evan, I was like, I actually would love a sewing machine. And this woman on Facebook Marketplace had a brand new one, unopened. She was like, I got it. I wanted to start crafting and just haven't had time for it. And I was like, I'll take it. And so I have a sewing machine now, and that's where I did the curtains and how I sewed those. But anyways, I say all this to say, I think a lot of my content for a minute is going to be a little bit more crafting than whatever it has been. See, like, I don't even know what it has been, but I want to follow that and just see where it leads. I think the start of this year, I've just kind of been like, what content was I creating? Like, what was I putting out into the world? And so I am just trying to figure that out, and I hope you will have patience with me and go on this journey with me. It's been a great start to the year. It's been a like mentally exhausting start to the year. I think I have just had like, we had family travel stuff all the way until New Year's, and then 9 days later was my sister's baby shower, and I was the main planner. I had hosting help. I did that, and then also made a pendant sign from scratch. That's a whole other story. Yeah, it was so beautiful, but it was all handmade. I did not have a sewing machine at that time. And I also, another lovely thing that had happened in that 9 days was I discovered another craft store here in Nashville that's actually closing. It's called Stitcher's Garden, and it's a quilting, it's mainly like a quilting cotton store. And so that's where I got all the scraps for that and the embroidery thread for that. And so anyways, we can go down that rabbit hole / more than happy to walk through how I did that at any point in time. So did all that, and then the week of, I guess it was like the 12th, I tried to get back into just a rhythm and a routine. My body was just exhausted, and I'm not one to rest or to chill. Like, I sat on the couch for that whole week, y'all. I had to. My body was like, you can't do anything. I had no motivation to work out. I like filmed this video that was all about like creating your dream routine, and I had no energy behind it to follow the routine. Like, I filmed it and I followed it for a day, and then I just was exhausted. And like, at the same time, I'm also trying to figure out like where my content's going, because I just feel like I just don't want to create what other people are creating. Or I don't know, the way I kind of think about social media is it's like a lot of people like talking, and if you're just kind of talking at the same volume and in the same way and about the same thing, like, you're not really making a difference and you're just adding to the noise. So I kind of just didn't want to keep creating the way I was if I wasn't like, for me personally, like, I want to, with whatever I do with my life, like, make a difference, make an impact, help people, love on people, all the things, create a safe place, a loving place. And so that was also happening, and that was last week. And then this week, I just still felt the same thing. So I just got into I was like, you know what, let me just create. Like, that is what I always fall back on, and my body always has so much like restorativeness from is just me creating. So I've been knitting and baking. So I baked my first sourdough loaf, y'all. Oh my word. What was it, like 3 days ago? One of my friends has been a sourdough loaf baker, and I was over at her house and we were just chatting about it, and I was like, you know what, I think it's time. Like, my starter, I've been feeding it weekly. Like, it is time for me to just make a loaf. And I knew the snow was coming, all the things, so I was like, let me just make one, like, we'll have it, all the things. So I made it, and Lord willing, it turned out amazing. I have baked or cooked many things that did not turn out amazing, so I'm gonna take a win on that one. I will insert pictures of what it looked like, and let me know in the comments, like, any sort of like style of sourdough that you love to make. Like, I saw one that was for rosemary sourdough, or I feel like I saw one that was maybe like a dried fruit sourdough. I'm here and open. But I baked my first loaf, and so I've been baking and just creating this whole last week, and I have not been posting at all, clearly, on YouTube or on any of my social medias, because again, I just am trying to be really intentional about, even with my podcast or my styling or my personal, like, it's just something that I care about. I don't want to just like post trend videos or whatever, and all that's lovely. That's not where my desire or direction is at. So that's that. My sister is very close to having her baby. It is almost time. That is also all that's on my brain, and I'm just very, very excited for that, and feel very kind of like distracted by it in a way, but she's doing great. She's feeling good. And so yeah, that brings you to where we're at now, and it is snowing. We've been knowing about the snow since maybe Monday or Tuesday, and I actually spent a lot of this week. I've had a heavy work week, and so I was like, I will step up and make sure we have the groceries, like think through everything. You know, when you're preparing for potentially being indoors for a lot of times, like, you kind of have to think through everything, and like, okay, if power goes out, like, what's our power outage meals? Like, cereal, milk, because listen, if the fridge starts getting less and less cold, like, we will just stick the milk outside. Like, that's what I just started thinking through. So that's been the bulk of my week as well. And I got to today, and I was like, you know what, I feel like picking up the camera, and so I'm so glad I did. And we will figure out how these scones turn out. I am such a big fan of scones, so I hope these turn out really well. I was reading in the recipe that I'll link below that you can ferment these up to 3 days. So that's really cool. I think I'm only gonna do them for a couple hours. I think we're gonna have them actually as dessert. So that's the plan. Thank you for being here for the catch up, and let's get on with the rest of the vlog. First bite.
Is it so good?
It's so good. The consistency is like perfect.
Wow. I can't wait to try it.
Happy Monday. The last time I talked to y'all was Saturday. Yesterday was a icy mess here in Nashville, and it honestly was scary because I've never been through an ice storm like that before. So Evan and I were just kind of like helping neighbors, trying to watch trees clear out things. Like, it was honestly a mess, but we have power. We're here. It's Monday. I want to get back into a routine like I was talking about in a couple clips ago. I want to start the week off fresh and just work on some fun things. For today, I am finishing up my second sourdough loaf, so I will take y'all through how this one is. I did everything pretty much the same, like timing wise, so we'll see how it turns out. And then I also want to have a lot of crafts planned and things like that, projects planned that I want to do, but I want to reorganize my closet in my beauty room so that I can kind of make it, that room is so multi-function that you almost have to have it just so organized, I'm realizing. And I'll show you when we get in there kind of what some of the problems are. So that's what we're going to get into today. I'm just quickly putting on some makeup just to feel, I don't know, girly. I just have not been putting on makeup as much, and I just feel like I'm like getting ready for the day. So that is what we're doing now. It is 10:40, and then the loaf should be done maybe in like 20 minutes. So I'm gonna finish my makeup, but in the meantime, I'm gonna insert a clip of me putting this little section together because I think it turned out really cute, and I'm just really excited for it. So I'm gonna insert that clip now, and I will catch y'all when I'm pulling out the loaf. On this wall, I have this piece of art that I've had for a while. I thrifted it back in like Birmingham, I think. And I'm like, okay, I want to put her up. And then I saw that I had this little hanger, and I was like, you know what, let me put that like under her, and Evan can hang his bike stuff on here. So, and then I might try to, all of this behind me is mine. It's just like multiple robes, and I might try to just declutter that. So that's what I'm thinking. And I'm just gonna quickly pop it up because it all can be hung with picture hangers. So that's what we're gonna do. So fun fact, y'all, that I discovered is this art piece is actually from a fashion magazine. So Mademoiselle was a fashion magazine, an American fashion and lifestyle magazine to be specific. And I got to looking because I saw that this said July, and I'm like, there's got to be other months. And they had an artist in 1936, Helen Jameson Hall, for that whole year painted all of the Mademoiselle covers, and they're all gorgeous. Like, if you get a second, go look at all the months, because I'm now on the hunt for like November and like potentially having all of them. Is that too many? Maybe like in a smaller print, but I think it could be fun to have more and like collect them. You definitely can buy them online. Like, I've found the website, but I'm kind of obsessed that I found this one in a thrift store, so I kind of want to find another one. And I need to like move on with my day, so we're gonna do that now, and who cares, there's no rules. I'm so excited. Before we leave the kitchen, I want to show y'all my 2 knit projects that I have started and finished and blocked. So here's the first one. I might have said this. Yes, I said this in the clip in in my bedroom, I was talking about this being like a coaster. I think I was like, we can make a pot holder, whatever. I don't know. I just actually wanted to start and finish something because I started so many things and then unstitched them. And Evan was like, Malls, if you don't finish a project. And I was like, I know. I just did this square just to kind of practice stitches and like practice stripes. I was really interested in switching colors with my yarn and all the things. So we'll figure out what this will be for. For the really fun one is this color work. Maybe I didn't like block it enough, but sorry, it's like kind of rolling. This color work pattern. I am absolutely obsessed with color working, y'all. It was so fun. Like, look at that. The back of it's hilarious. I had the best time with this. And to tell you the truth, I knitted this thinking it would be my curtain tie backs for this window that is behind you in my kitchen, because I need some sort of tie backs. I don't know that I want to use the same fabric. I have them held back with just some cut off fabric that matches them, but I was like, little tie backs like this would be really cute. I don't know if I love the way these look with that. Like, is it giving like too homemade, you know? I'm gonna show you and we're gonna decide together. Sorry y'all, it's gonna get super backlit for just a second. Okay, so here's the curtains as is. But this was the idea. Yeah, it's not it. It was so hard to show you. I don't know if I got a good clip or not, but I think this is really pretty, but like not for that. I feel like I need to do like, if I'm gonna knit something, maybe go pink or green. But that's okay. I kind of had a feeling when I was doing it. But I was telling Evan, how pretty would this be if I would have finished it out like as a neck scarf? Like, are you kidding me? And I guess I could do that. I'll have to look up how, but I'm sure I could pick up stitches and do it. But like, how gorgeous. So we'll figure out a way to use this. But anyways, just wanted y'all to see, if you are a knitter or haven't started knitting and want to get into it, this is actually more simple than you think. It's actually a grid that you follow, and there is a gal. I will link the reel I saw of hers in the description, and it just, like, the way she explained the grid and what this is and how to use it together, I was like, oh, that's amazing. So that's what we have. But anyways, okay, let's get into the real matter at hand and let me show you the craft area that we need to fix. Okay, so this room is my closet where I have space to pull out my sewing machine. It is where I have a desk to do editing and anything on my computer. I have a keyboard in here. I used to record the podcast in here. I would take styling videos. I also cut fabric on the table. I use this room for so many things, and it is a small bedroom. So like, I am trying to do a lot of things. Therefore, I have to be super creative and organized. And if I could go back now, this thing in the middle, I would make smaller. It is what it is, and it actually stores so much stuff, and I'm very thankful. But I would probably lay this out a little differently, and maybe in the future I might try to redo something. But before we get there, this closet, I bought a shelf months ago. I did it in one of the vlogs and put it in here, and I actually used to have my shoes in here and then I swapped them, and it does feel so much better because this should be kind of where all the clutter is. I film in here, so I'm okay with like the shoes and the clothes being like exposed and then everything else a little bit more styled. But now that I have a sewing machine, I have a cutting board and stuff like that, I want to be able to take things in and out of this closet. A sewing machine is so easy to put away and pull out, especially I'm not a full-time seamstress, like I'm not sewing every day, so I don't need it sitting out, and I actually love sitting at that desk with my computer. This wall, little caveat, is it gets barely like any sun, so it's actually one of the coldest parts of this room, or coldest parts of our house. It'll get indirect sunlight, but just heating wise, the heating thing on the floor is actually over here. So I have found that during the winter months, I have been wanting to sit more over here. And so anyways, that's also another reason I want to keep that cleaned off, because I kind of want to be able to sit over here. It's warmer. It's next to the heat that is coming out of the floor. I just want it to be a little bit more like countertops don't have everything sitting on it, because then you just can't come in here and create. So it makes it really hard. I have fabric that I want to get on a shelf. I have yarn I want to get on a shelf. And so all the things. And in here right now, let me just go ahead and show you. I have like a catch-all. I'm exposing myself. I have a catch-all like to hook. It's actually 2 and then has like 4 on the bottom, where this has now just been a catch-all for so many different purses. But what I would like for it to be is just my current purse, and maybe I kind of switch between like a bigger purse and then I'll have like a crossbody just in case like I go on a walk or I go to the gym. Like I kind of have 2 bags I'm intermingling, so I like to keep those here. This is Rachel's dress. I gotta get back to her. And then I have some scarves and things. So I want to get that cleaned up. But beyond that is inside here. So in here, I currently have fragrance, and then fragrance and jewelry, and then lip products, and then tech. So I want to reorganize this so it can house more things.
I need a cable.
Sweet boy. And then I also keep my clothes hamper in here, and I have this bag on the side that has a bunch of scarves in it and beanies, and then my rail that I use for selling videos and all the things is also broken down in here. So this closet's housing a lot, but I think it can be reorganized. I think I'm wasting a lot of space here. I actually want to have my jewelry and all that a little bit more accessible to put on. So yeah, that's the plan. That's what we're gonna get into. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna start the only way I know how, and to pull everything out and then put it back in. So let's get into it. For a little update. This actually went faster than I thought. Thank you. So glad. I actually fit so much in here, and it feels really nice. At the same time, there's a lot left that I have to find a home for. So that's gonna be the harder part, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. So I have fabric in here. I have my sewing machine, my embroidery thread. I have all my yarn and my needles. And I even could fit my 2 film cameras and my mic and my tech, and then my makeup stuff at the bottom. So feeling very good about all of that. The only thing that I would say that is craft stuff that's not in here is my paints and my canvases. Those I have stored away. That's the only other thing. And I could always, if I ever found a place to put like some of that other stuff, I could always put that box up there and that would get everything in here. But It's not necessarily the goal today. So feeling good about that and very excited for all the room. I do have to put my, this has to live in there regardless, but that's okay. It doesn't take up as much room anymore and I can get in. So the only other thing to figure out is this on the door, keep it as little as possible. I just have some belts hanging here. But if I can get my just purse and then my gym bag in here and that's it, that would be really nice. And that would keep this super organized. So all these bags at least have homes up here. They just have landed here. So bags can get up there. It's really the jewelry and the fragrance and the lipsticks that I'm gonna have to figure out. So here we go. Okay, here's my thought for this wall. This here, it's gonna be hard to show you, but it's gonna be laid out like that. Yeah, let's hang the painting and see what we think. My holdup with these is, what am I hanging on them? But I was sitting here thinking like, I mean, how many times throughout the day do I take off a sweatshirt and like instead of it just laying somewhere, like I could hang it on there, or like sometimes my PJs, I don't know, I'm thinking of random things, but I just don't want it to look random. But I at least want to try it because we can patch it and repaint it if we hate it. They're so cute. I love them so much. These are from Anthro years ago. Like, how gorgeous. So I really want to put these up. I'm gonna try it and then we're just gonna go from there. Guys, this is what I ended up with. I like it for now. We'll see. It's happy, it's fun. I have this basket that potentially I am propagating a pothos and I would love to put it here once its vines grow. So I'm thinking that there. Hook here for, like I said, like sweatshirt or something that I've taken off and putting back on like a layer. These were gifts from friends, so I just want to show them off a little bit. But I have finished everything else, so let me take you on a tour around the room. So everything is kind of a work in progress, as it always is in this room. I think that's why I hesitate on ever nailing anything into the wall, because I'm just like, do I want it there forever? Telling myself it's time to just like put things in the wall and we can always take them out. So anyways, that is done. And then I have displayed my sunnies and blue light glasses because I'm realizing I never grabbed for them when they were in there. So I have displayed them really cute. And then I have some cases that they were in behind them and just kind of as an easy grab because I just hate them just in my purse. They always get scratched if they don't have a case, so I can grab that and throw them in my purse. And then I left out on the top of my beauty counter my oils, so that those are some of my favorite things to put on, whether I put on any perfume or not. I love putting on any of my oils, so have those as an easy grab. And then underneath I put the rest of my perfume. That's just a whole thing for me. I don't love like perfume displayed. I think it would have to be like really beautiful and minimalist, and that's just not the vibe in this room. So I put that down there for now. And then jewelry has also, even when I lived in Franklin, been a hard thing for me because I have a lot of jewelry, and I think that just comes from being a girl and working at Anthro, and jewelry is just fun, but it's also like, again, the way that it's stored, I think for me has to look very minimalist and in a very particular way, and that's just what I have for right now. So it's gonna sit over there for now. I do have a different jewelry like container that I could put things in. I just don't know where that's at. But anyways, that is there for now, and it gives me still some of my countertop, and I'm gonna live with it and we're gonna see how it is. But it was nice to just like refresh everything so that I can like do my multi-function in this room as it needs. So I'm really happy with it. And now I have like a working desk here, there's room here, there's room over there, here, like everything is functioning how I want it, and also very easy to keep up with. I think you can organize a room very, or I can organize a room like almost to perfection, and then like can't sustain that. So that's what we're not trying to do. We're trying to get out of that. So I have some laundry to fold, and I'm gonna sit and do that by my heater. It is so drafty in this house today because it's so cold outside. So that is what I am going to do now and finish drinking my smoothie, and then I'm gonna meet you all at the coffee machine because we gotta make a little coffee for the afternoon. A decaf. I have been doing my decaf in the afternoon if I do anything. So I'll see you there in a second. Right now, I recently on me and Chat GBT, you know how people will be like, the sun's rising in the setting in my house windows are eastern, and like they know where all the sun and the windows are. Chat and I had a discussion recently about like what all my windows are, because I wanted to have my plants. I'm like exposing myself. I didn't know what they are, and I don't care to admit, like I was telling Evan this, and this was like my caveat of the year, I don't need to be the most right person in the room. But anyways, I was moving my plants around because it being winter and it being draftier in the house, I just wanted them to be in the right place to thrive. And with filming, I learned so much in Vlogmas of just like lighting is like everything. And you all know my whole caveat with my beauty room and the nipple lights and all that. But anyways, Chat and I had a whole discussion about the timing of my two windows. And so I'm just like noticing our house just like glowing in like 3:30 onward. So I just love that. I don't know. It gives me like a lift in the afternoon that I need. But I just made my Americano. I have been using, I just have to shout them out. I went to school in Birmingham, Alabama at a university called Stanford University. And if you went to any college or grew up in Birmingham or visited, maybe you heard of the coffee shop O. Henry's. It was one of my absolute favorites. There were so many, and there was like Red Cat, Caveat, like when I was at college. But O. Henry's was always one of my favorites because there was one across from the school, like right across from campus, next to the Target. And it was just the coziest place. It was smaller, and it was just the coziest place to study. But that's where I really would get like Americanos and just any sort of black coffee drink, whether it was drip or iced or whatever. But my mom and dad, when I saw them over Christmas, they gave me a bag of O. Henry's Christmas blend, and I sadly, in my grinder back here, have the last few of the beans of that bag, and I'm just cherishing them. I say that as I'm like not, O. Henry's is not in here, but I say that to say, now that I've tasted like very quality beans, I'm like, oh shoot, I don't know if I can go back, because the way, especially for someone who drinks black coffee, I think if you're drinking, like, if you're putting creamer in it, milk, whatever, it probably doesn't matter. But I have noticed when I'm drinking my Americanos that it makes such a difference whenever I am having, like, O. Henry's beans versus, like, I know I had shouted out on here before the big bag of coffee beans at Sam's Club. They're still great. They're just more of a straightforward coffee taste in the sense of, like, it's almost a little bit more bitter, whereas O. Henry's almost has like this buttery smell and a little bit more going on. So anyways, I am gonna have to figure something out because those beans are so good, and I don't know if I can go back because I have like perfected my Americano at home. I've actually not, I mean, it is winter time, so like I'm not just running out of the house as much anymore. I'm not getting as many hot Americanos out. I actually don't get any hot Americanos out. I only get iced out, but in the morning, that's what I make. And so I'm gonna have to figure that out, and I will keep y'all updated if you're a coffee lover on what I find, because it's just like, I go through beans. I am the only coffee drinker in the house, so maybe I would go through them slower than I realize. So maybe the price can be justified, but sometimes it's just like, we don't need to be spending $26-30 on a bag, or at least not right now. So, and I'm okay, I can figure out a different thing, but it's just so good. If you're in the Birmingham area or you're passing through, try out O. Henry's. It's amazing. I am drinking decaf, which is Starbucks Christmas decaf, and it's great. I think decaf is really hard to do well, and I don't know why it is. I don't know if it's because of how the bean gets from caffeinated to decaf, if that just takes away a lot of the flavor, but I have found that Starbucks' whole bean, I can't speak for their ground, I've only had their whole bean decaf that I bought in store, and it's good. I still have plenty of those, and it's like a Christmas blend, so it has a little bit more of a spice flavor. So anyways, that's what I make in the afternoon, and that's what I have in here. If you are a coffee like lover and are looking into an espresso machine, I kind of did a deeper talk about it in a few vlogs ago, but I'll just give you my overview spiel. The machines I have, I will link below. I have a separate grinder, what's a blender? I have a separate grinder from my coffee machine, and I'm obsessed with both of them. You can put the espresso thing, I don't know what all the names are, y'all, the espresso holder in the grinder, or you can actually put the bigger if you're gonna put it into a drip or a filter coffee, or a French press. Like, there's just a bigger cup that comes with the grinder. And then with the espresso machine, I was sitting there making this, and I was like, this machine is honestly the best machine for anyone who their coffee order is espresso based and either hot water or steamed milk, because the spigot that comes with this machine, it's the perfect temperature of steamed water that goes in here with my espresso. Anytime I do steamed milk, sometimes I will do cortados. It is just perfect. So I can't recommend those two enough, and I will link them below. They are worth it, and it gets to where it's like, oh, I can't, like, it's hard to find like an equally as good coffee elsewhere. So anyways, that's my coffee spiel for the week. I am gonna go enjoy this and fold those clothes I was talking about, put clothes away. It's coming to the end of the work day, and I'm very excited to chill. I'm gonna do some editing on the computer, do a couple more hours of things, but I feel very proud of today, and I have wanted to do that task that we did today for the longest time. I don't know if anyone else has certain tasks that it is just hard to get them done sometimes, and that's one of them. I just was like, do I have to? So I was like, yes, Malls, you have to. And I'm glad we did it. It's actually really sweet, and I've been meaning to clean up my room and get some good footage, so I'm glad I did that with y'all today, because I will explain to people what that second bedroom is in our home, and they're like, wait, I need to see photos. And I have like no proper ones, that my like laundry isn't strode out somewhere. So that is also a good thing that came out today. Before we end the vlog today, I want to show y'all all the fabric that was in my closet. I have specific projects for each one, and that will probably be part of some of the next few vlogs, and I want to tease y'all with what I'm thinking. I have gone ahead and just pulled them out of the closet because it was crazy trying to get y'all in there with me. But first thing is, I have wanted to make a jacket. I want it to be like quilted meets like Free People. Okay, so I went to Goodwill to try to find just a jacket silhouette that was in my brain that I could almost like self-guide, self-draft off of. And so that's what this first thing is. If you saw that in the closet, I was like, what is happening? I want to make a boxy... Everything's like melting today, so things are just like falling everywhere outside. I'm so sorry, y'all. I want to make like a boxy quilted jacket, and the arms be almost more open at the end, but I want the body to also be boxy and come almost like below my hip. So I didn't personally have any jackets that were built like that, which is part of why I want to make it. And that's the body of this will kind of help, and then we'll just draw out the sleeves. But for the fabric for that, I'm kind of all over the place with it, but I think I'm going to do an Irish chain design that I think it's going to be multicolored. If I cut out these samples and we need to do just like squares or a different kind of quilted design, I will, but I really like how Irish chain looks. So one of the first fabrics I bought, this is the only one that's not thrifted in this pile, I actually got this at Stitcher's Garden, is this one. Sorry, the heat is coming on. This beautiful blue fabric is from Stitcher's Garden, and I grabbed just a yard of that because I thought that would be probably my main besides white. So that's that. And then here are a couple other thrifted fabrics I grabbed that once cut up I thought would be really pretty in that jacket. Who knows? This one was everything to me. Very 90s. And it has like a more satin feel. This one feels straight up like cotton, but I really liked the stripes and the two colors that it was. And then these are two just white cottons. This one's almost a linen, I think, that I will use. I probably won't use that in this project. I will probably use this one as my like white with this project. So that's kind of the jacket. Plus I got a bag of scraps just to add in any colors that I feel like I need. So I have that as well. And then this next project, we all know and love the lovely, I think it's Lioness, long sleeve striped tee, right? Okay. That, but my version. Here is the fabric. I thrifted this, y'all. I went in looking for the fabric for a striped long sleeve tee, and I found it. So I've had this for a minute. I've just been trying to figure out, like, you can buy these neck and wrist cuffs, but I was like, do I do that or do I just make a neckline out of this? So I've kind of been stuck. My brain's been trying to figure that part out, but I'm very excited for that. So I wanna do that soon. And then this fabric, I have 3.5 yards of this beautiful satin blue. Okay, here's my first few thoughts. A slip skirt with a matching top or a just slip strapless dress like come spring and summer. This would be gorgeous. And or the inside of my quilted jacket. So I have a lot of ideas with this just because it's polka dot, it's beautiful royal blue. I love blue. I don't have enough blue in my closet. I actually have a lot of green and red, so that I'm trying to put more blue in my closet. So stay tuned for that. I'm very excited for, think like Tilda skirt from Anthro with some sort of top. I don't know what like matching set top we could think, but that's the vibes. And then this fabric that I was gonna do something else with, it actually hit me. How beautiful would this be as jeans, y'all? I think I have enough, and it's like it's almost a linen cotton blend, but I have a particular pair of pants that we could model it after that I think that would be gorgeous. Kind of some baggy. Maybe we try to make like some barrels. I don't know, guys. We're gonna learn together. Never made clothes, but I mean, I have when I was really young with my mom and me mom, but like, we're gonna have some fun. It'll be fun. And then these next few fabrics are, I think these are all more house projects. This is a really beautiful watercolor printed on linen, is my guess, fabric that I want to put in the bathroom here. My accent color throughout this house is pops of red. I have done it really well in the bathroom because there is a red lamp, and when I saw this at the thrift store, I was like, this is a yes. So that I'm very excited for, and I just have to figure out what kind of curtains I want. Do I want one panel? Do I want two? Do I want, you know, all the things. So that's for there. And then this fabric, I might turn into two things. It is a beautiful cotton navy red and like almost mustard brown in the background fabric. It's like woven. Let me see. Yeah, it's like almost a woven knit fabric. But anyways, I was thinking a pillow. I think this could be really pretty on our bed. It kind of matches my bedspread that has like almost hand woven parts to it. It's a quilt from Anthro, and I think a pillow like that would be really pretty on there. Also, I think this could be a beautiful top, and I don't know if that's like a strapless top or, sorry, I'm watching a squirrel climb my tree with a piece of bread, and I'm just honestly so happy for him. The fact that he just climbed that tree with that piece of bread. That took a lot of work. I actually want to wear this fabric, I'm realizing. I think it could be really cute as some sort of top. So that is the thought there. And then these last two, I still just have this very soft, even after I washed and dried it, it got even softer. White fabric, it's very flowy. So I'm not sure, I might just save that to use as like lining. Like it almost feels like a lining fabric. So I just, you know, when you find a good white, you got to pick it up. And then I have this linen that I got actually for the window in the kitchen, and I hated it. I was like, no. I think gray can be really harsh in certain rooms, and gray can also like elevate certain rooms, and in my kitchen it was going to be really harsh. So I'm keeping this because this actually would be really pretty pillows. It could be beautiful curtain, just not for that room. So that is the other thing. So those are the next few projects on my brain, and if you can't tell, I want to get into styling but with making my own clothes. I have some ideas up my sleeve, so I hope that sounds fun for y'all, because it sounds fun for me. If you have any ideas for those fabrics, let me know. I'm very excited and excited to learn and take y'all along the ride. So I am going to end the vlog here and start up a new one tomorrow with the rest of the week. So thank y'all so much for watching and being here. It is so good to be back with y'all. I actually just so happy that I picked up my camera today and started creating again. I love making these videos and I also really love editing them. I think it's really fun to just put a small project like this together. It's a very fun creative outlet for me, and I appreciate that I get to do it and there's something else melting. But thank y'all so much for clicking on the video, being here. It really means the world. I'm gonna go fold some laundry and watch my toast girls, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye guys.